If you have been manifesting your desire for a long time and nothing is happening in the 3D, we need to talk. First of all, please remember that it's not because the law of assumption is not working, and it's not because it's working sometimes with some things, or that you are not able to manifest. You are very able to manifest, and you are always manifesting, and the law of assumption is always working. When the outcome in the 3D is not what we desire, we always to come back to ourselves and understand what we are doing that is creating the undesired outcome instead of the desired outcome. And in this video, I want to focus specifically on something that is probably the most important thing in manifesting that many people miss. I have talked about this many times in many videos, so there's no secret to this, but I want to make a video specifically focusing on this so that you can think about it and understand where you can change the way you're thinking, the way you're being, so that you actually manifest your desired outcome in the 3D because you deserve it. If you need a more personalized help in your manifestation journey, you can book a one-on-one coaching from the link in the description box below, or you can join my Master Manifestors Mastermind group. In that case, please send me an email from my booking page so that we can find a group for you that is comfortable for your time zone. Check out the links for my courses, and let's talk about what is this super important thing in manifesting that actually really many people are missing. So when we first have a desire and we start manifesting it, I think because of our human experience, which is we experience life in the 3D and all the 3D is outside of us. So when we have a desire and we start manifesting it consciously, we come from a human kind of thinking, which is I focus on this other thing to make it become the way I want it to, which is very understandable. And that's sort of where we start with manifesting. It's very natural and it's completely okay to start there, to understand how do I want my person to be, how do I want my life to be in abundance, how do I want my life to be in health, etc. But then at some point, if not immediately, all these things have to turn into who am I being? This is the classical, very cliche sentence. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are being. And what does it mean? It means that you don't manifest the person or the thing, the money, the house, or your health. You are manifesting you experiencing that thing. It seems like a detail, but it makes a huge, huge difference. And I feel like I'm talking about this in almost all of my sessions with clients, because this is super important. When you focus on, let's say you are manifesting a specific person, many of you are, your focus is on the other person, and you are not paying attention to who you are being. If there is if these two things, you and your image of the person, if these two people in your mind are not in sync, they are contradicting each other. What does this mean? So you are manifesting, you are imagining or affirming your person to be loving and kind and committed and whatever you are manifesting, but you are not conforming. You are not being that person who is with that version of your SP. All of a sudden now you're contradicting your own desire. This is why we often hear the person is stubborn, they don't want to, they have baggage, they're not ready, they're not conforming. It's never that the other person is stubborn. It's always that the person who is manifesting is stubborn to change. you can do your manifestation techniques all you want, but if you are not changing your, everything that is happening on the inside, you are conflicting, you are contradicting yourself, you are contradicting your manifestation, your desire. Every time, and this is the typical: keep a mental diet, pay attention to your negative thoughts, pay attention to your inner dialogue, pay attention to your reactions. All these things that you hear in different explanations, they all mean the same thing. Because if you are doing your affirmations and then you are complaining about your SP, you are not being the person who has the version of your SP that you desire. Because in that moment, you have to ask yourself, okay, now the other person behaved in a way that I don't want to. But that is the manifestation of my old self. It's not about them. It's about who am I being in the moment, which means if I had the version of the person that I want to, if I were in the relationship that I wanted to, would I have this reaction? Would I have these negative thoughts? Would I complain about these things? Would I be this anxious and stressed about it? No, you wouldn't, because everything would work out and everything would be happy and loving, etc. So you always have to come back to self, regardless of what the person is doing, because whatever is outside of you, that is a manifestation already. That's already a manifestation. You can't work with that. So if you are dealing with problems in the 3D, the same applies to money, the same applies to the job or whatever else you are manifesting. If your focus is on, this is bad, I don't like this, I don't know, why is it not working? So now you're manifesting more of that. Because again, come back to, who am I being? I am being my old self, complaining about old problems. Would my version, my new version, who has this desire, complain about these things? Or be negative about these things? Or be anxious about these things? No, I wouldn't. And when you have a talk with yourself like this, every time you realize that your reactions are not it, this can help you snap out of the illusion, which is that the 3D is the reality, that it's unshakable, unchangeable. The more you put focus on your 3D, the more it's going to seem like it's solid and nothing is happening. But that is the illusion. Because it's physical and we are used to the physical things being real. This idea that if something is physical, if I can touch it, if I can see it, then it's real. Then it's going to, the more you focus on that, the more it's going to suck you in and feel more real and more problematic, of course. So you need to come back to yourself and in your imagination, experience the thing that you want to experience. And in that experience, you have to be the new version. You are the one who needs to conform, not the other person. If you think about how you are viewing the other person, you can say the same thing in different ways. How are you viewing the person? How are your thoughts about your SP most of the day? Again, are you complaining? Are you being negative about it? Are you being anxious about it? Are you angry? Because if you are not the version of you who is experiencing that version of them. Your old version, the old version of yourself cannot experience the new version of them. So, which again, in neutral human manifestation terms, this means that your mind has to align before anything can change in the 3D. So every time you think that the person is stubborn, realize that you are the stubborn one. It's always us who is stubborn to change. The image that you keep holding of them, that's the stubbornness. They hurt me. They behaved like this. They didn't call. They didn't say what I wanted to hear. That's you being stubborn about changing your story. So that's how you know the law of assumption is working, because then that's what you manifest. It's very simple. There's really no secret to this, but it has to be applied. The application of it can be challenging. It can, but you can do it. And the challenge is to just start. When you start and you do the work, at first it may feel like challenging, but then you get the hang of it and you can do it. And by the way, there's really no secret to manifestation. I sometimes happen to see videos like big secret about manifestation nobody's telling you. There's no such thing, because everything that we all learned about manifestation is in Neville Goddard's books. So if there were a secret, it wouldn't be a secret because you would be able to buy a book and read it. So this just to say, don't get anxious, is that you're not missing the big secret that, if you think about the phrase imagination creates reality, what are you imagining all day? Who are you being? That is the same thing as who are you being? Are you constantly imagining the problem? Because in that case, you are being your old self. How would your new self, your new version in that beautiful relationship, in that beautiful big house, with all that money in the bank, with that awesome health and well-being that you have, how would you experience life? How would you feel about life? You would feel happy, you would feel relaxed, you would feel calm, confident, etc., because your 3D would be different. And this is what you need to imagine and come back to in your mind. And I am not, in no way am I telling you to constantly be positive. Constantly, you need to force yourself to be positive. That's also not it. That doesn't work. It can backfire. That's not good. What I'm saying is, when you go inside and you imagine being the person who has the life that you already want to, that is going to put you in the state of calm, happiness, confidence, etc. You name it. If you're not in that state, that means your mind is in the opposite place. So it always comes back to who am I being? The other person is not stubborn. They have no free will in your reality. I have several videos about free will that I'm going to link in the description box below. Please check those out if you're dealing with an SP who is being stubborn. There is no such thing. We are the ones who are stubborn and don't want to change the way we imagine people and things and ourselves. How are you being treated? Can you imagine you being treated differently? Can you persist in that? If you can, then you are being the new version of you, and at some point it has to reflect in the 3D, because the law of assumption. And there's a lot of self-concept in this, but self-concept is not just I'm worthy of this, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of abundance. Of course you are worthy of love and abundance and health and well-being. If you feel like you don't feel like you're worthy, you should definitely affirm that you are. But that's also not it. It's not about being worthy, feeling worthy. It's about feeling like you are the person who is already experiencing these things. You are the person who has these things. And that's what it's about. It's not about changing the other person. It's about changing you, which means changing your perception of the other person, changing your perception of yourself, changing your perception of your experience of whatever you are manifesting. So it always needs to come back to self, because you are the manifester and you are manifesting your experience. You are not manifesting the other person or the money or the house or the things that you're manifesting. You are always manifesting yourself. experiencing it, yourself being that version. So please think about this. Think about what it means for you, what it means for your manifestation, what it means for how you go about your daily life. Because if you are constantly being your old self and sometimes you're affirming that the other person is good to you, there's a clash. It's contradicting. So I really hope that this was helpful. If you need a more personalized help with your manifestation, you can book a one-on-one coaching with me from the link in the description box below. I will be happy to help you with anything you are manifesting. Or you can join my Master Manifestor Mastermind group. In that case, send me an email from my booking page. Check out the links for my courses. Have a beautiful day and see you in the next video.